Hello everyone and welcome back to 4FS Gaming. This is going to be a quick video in which I talk about the 3 new weapons which are currently on the test server and are soon going to make their way into the main game. Of course, the other highlight of this run on the test server is that they are doing another pass at performance, and the differences are quite noticeable. On the test server I was getting 30 more frames per second than on live on low settings, although I did find on medium and high the graphics quality did seem a bit off, so I'm not sure if that's got anything to do with it. Now as for these weapons, we have the Crossbow Shotbolt, the Nagant M1895 Officer Carbine, and the Spectre 1882 Compact. Let's start by looking at the Compact Spectre. In the background I'm going to have some comparisons of me shooting the Spectre Compact and also the rival hand cannon. This weapon is very comparable to the rival hand cannon. Some quick testing indicates that the Spectre does have a slightly tighter pallet spread on average than the rival hand cannon, although it could just be pure RNG. The range and damage are also very similar. So the question is, for $65, which is almost exactly the same price, is this better than the Caldwell double barrel hand cannon? It really comes down to rate of fire, reload, and shots in the magazine, because this variant of the Spectre will only fit in 4 shots, and in order to fill all those up, you will have to eject and waste a shot first, unless you have the bullet grubber perk. Just like the other Spectre variants, the rate of fire is pretty slow compared to the Caldwell hand cannon, which can fire off 2 shots very quickly but then has to reload, while the Spectre can fire off 4 shots at a much slower pace. If you actually look at the timing here, you'll probably notice that you can shoot twice with the hand cannon, reload it, and shoot twice again in about the same time it takes for you to fully unload the Compact Spectre, which does really make me wonder if it's going to be worth using when the hand cannon seems to outclass it in almost every way. It fires faster, reloads faster, and you don't have to waste any ammo to fill up the magazine. Regardless, I do really like all of the Spectre variants, so I am happy to have this as an option, and it does look pretty cool from an aesthetic perspective. The next gun I want to talk about is the Nagant M1895 Officer Carbine. So this is a Nagant Officer, except it has a stock and also an extended barrel. The big problem with this gun is that it fills up a large slot, so it's in direct competition with the Winfield C. It has 7 shots in the magazine, it fires compact ammo, and it's a large weapon. So how exactly does it stack up? Well, it has very similar control, and the reload is a little bit slower, I believe, but its damage and range is also notably less than a Winfield. It does, however, have an exceptional rate of fire, and it can crack off round after round much quicker than the Winfield is capable of. It does come in at $86, which makes it much more expensive than the basic Winfield C model. Aside from in very close range, where the rate of fire means its DPS is going to be higher than the Winfield, I don't think it's going to see much use. This is because at pretty much anything other than point blank range, the much cheaper and more versatile Winfield is going to just be able to out damage it shot for shot. Now saying that, the Officer Carbine is very fun to use because it handles so well. It has very minimal recoil, not a whole lot of sway, it fires rapidly, and it's a very snappy weapon. If you like snappy weapons and are good at landing headshots, you could get some good use out of it, but for the price point I think you'd be better going with a Winfield Swift or something. Or pay a few more bucks and get a carabiner. And if you're taking this thing for short range combat, which appears to be what it's designed for, you're really just hurting yourself by not taking a shotgun at that point. Overall, fun weapon, and I will be interested to see where they take this kind of idea when crafting enters the game. The final weapon is another crossbow variant. It's the Crossbow Shotbolt. So this fires bolts with little shotgun rounds attached to the end of them. Wherever that crossbow bolt lands, that's where the shotgun shell will detonate, originating the blast point from where you hit with the crossbow, not obviously from the crossbow itself. Now, just like the explosive crossbow, this means that you cannot retrieve these bolts, although you can, if you're lucky, get extra ammo from looting corpses. So it is incredibly limiting to use this in PvE. Against players, however, and I didn't get to test this personally because, well, the test server is pretty barren in Oceania, but I would say if that shot bolt hit the torso or head, of course, of a player at pretty much any range, of course that's where the shotgun blast will then originate from, it should be an insta-kill. So I can see it being a reasonably strong PvP weapon in the right hands. Now of course, like all crossbow variants, it takes a little bit of skill to actually land it where you want that bolt to go. And just like the explosive crossbow, the heavier weight of these specialized bolts means that they have increased drop, and it's even harder to hit your targets. I can see it being a very fun weapon, but also a very niche weapon. And for $305, I think you're probably going to be better off going with a normal crossbow just for the versatility, because remember, this thing isn't silent because it explodes a crossbow shot, but that could also work to your advantage. I could see this being used to hoik the bolts over a field, explode it far away from where you are, and act as a kind of makeshift sound decoy, if you will. It could have some really interesting uses, but I think we'll have to wait till it hits the live server to really see how people play around with this thing. And so there you go. If you haven't played the test server, now you're up to speed on everything that is coming in the next patch, along with performance improvements. There's not really anything else coming at this current time. Although I believe the roadmap has been recently updated, so you should check that out. I'll link it in the description below. I'll also take this opportunity to tell you that I will be going away for about a month, and so if you don't see a whole lot of content, that is probably why. Until then, you should come and join our Discord server to keep in touch, and also find a whole lot of other people to play Hunt with. If you want to help support us here at 4FS Gaming, we've also recently set up a Patreon, so if you would like to partner with us and help us put out some really great content, you can check that out, linked in the description below as well. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.